Welcome to See You Next Tuesday. I'm Jade Chung. And...
I'm not saying anything.
But you're saying something.
Welcome to See You Next Tuesday.
Well, I don't know what to do. I don't do videos.
Was it Barbara Walters? Like the...
I don't know what to do.
This is Anchorman.
Thank you to all of everyone who subscribed to my YouTube, because we wouldn't be here right now doing a video podcast. And it's a little bit weird because I know I'm supposed to have like a real setup, but this kind of just fell on my lap. Not really. No, it didn't really fall on my lap. I planned it, but I mean,
this is a legit setup. I'd be happy with this. I don't think we need to buy any more stuff.
Sorry if the video is fuzzy, because, webcam quality is... Anyways, let's get to it. My guest, the Impact Wrestling X Division champion, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander.
How did you ever get this exclusive video interview with me? The privilege.
Even though you've already had... interviews.
Oh, sorry. Sports Illustrated called me. I shouldn't have picked up. I should have saved this for you. Anywho.
Yeah, you should have been like, you know what? Not right now. Maybe in about a week and a half.
Yeah.
Got to talk to my wife first.
Yeah, she needs the scoops. Get those dirt sheets rolling.
So for everyone out there, I guess, Josh, how long did you know for... that you were going to go for the title?
I knew for like a week before, because Scott had called me and was talking to me about travel stuff and border stuff. And he randomly was just like, hey, whatever, we'll have you defend the, we'll see what happens and yada yada. And I was just like, what? Defend what belt? And I was like, oh, maybe I'm winning. I didn't think it was going to happen because Ace just won it, right? So, but then even though I still didn't believe it, because Scott's kind of like, that would be like a thing he would do. Be like, oh, bring an extra bag in case you have to carry the belt back, or something, and just like make your mind think about it. Like he would just like drop it in there casually and then move on to something else in the conversation.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So I didn't know if he was just like ribbing me or whatever. And then when I showed up at the venue, it was like, oh, good.
Scott tells the truth a lot.
I'm glad my family's watching this live on pay-per-view.
So I told him specifically, I didn't want to know.
No. The way the story went is you looked at me, not pleased, and you went, would you even tell me if you knew? And I went, would you want me to? And that's where you're like, well, no. Yeah. But it started off like kind of aggressive.
All right. I'm so glad that you remember that. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed it for the video.
So the sweet part of it, I didn't want to know. For most of your matches anyways, I don't really ask if you're going over or not. Sometimes I do, and that's usually if you're doing, it's only when you're doing indie shows and you're not on till you're in a different time zone. You're not on till like 11 midnight our time, my time. So then I just ask you to tell me. But I like, even though if it's not TV, I like following all the live tweets and just going off of everyone's reactions. And if anyone posts photos or videos, it's always so fun and exciting and surprising at the same time. So it's nice. Yeah. It was like I had an idea just because of some of the Impact stuff that we talked about. I was kind of like piecing it together. But then there was always that, oh, okay, well, maybe not. But anyway, who cares? I'm super happy that you were first match. Mm-hmm. Because both boys, they're usually in bed by 8 o'clock, like lights out. And then we get to be down here and have adult time. And adult time is we eat our dinner.
Nap time.
Nap time for him on the couch until I wake him up and say, hey, time to go to bed. Yeah. But yes, it was so nice to have them watch with me. I actually didn't realize that was going to be the finish. Mm-hmm. Like, I looked up, I was watching, then I looked back at the boys, well, because Jet was like wrestling behind me. And then the next thing I knew, I saw Divine's intervention, and then I turn, I'm like, oh, wait, really? And then 3, I'm like, oh my God, wait. Oh my gosh. Um,
And you stole the show that night.
I'm sorry.
You
I
did.
didn't mean for it to get,
More people came up to me and talked about your video than congratulated me.
really? Aw.
They're like, oh yeah, the belt's great, but this video, oh my God. And
Aw.
I'm just like, yeah, I've seen it. Okay.
I didn't mean it for, I was just gonna send it to you, right? But I thought, oh my God, like just with the kids getting excited, I'm like, no, this is something that'll probably make him cry more if he finds it on social media.
It was a moment. It's a moment.
Did
for
you
sure.
cry?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Were you
Yeah,
by
I
yourself?
didn't cry, but like
You cried.
I
Were you by
I
yourself?
just went, no, I eventually got to a place where I was by myself really quickly. Yeah. That's like made it all cool.
Yeah, I was completely surprised by just how many views and how many people commenting and how many people sharing. It made me feel, it just made me feel happy because it's not only sharing our feelings, but like it's still talking about you. Well, it's about you, but like I just get happy when people talk about you
And support me.
and support you, yeah, and stuff like that. So it's nice that dragged on for like a few days, and it's still like I still get the occasional like retweet now, and it's been over. No, it's been like a week and a half since you got the title. So yes, I didn't expect it, but it was really sweet. I loved, and I made sure that I commented back to anybody who commented on the video because, you know, just
You appreciated it?
I appreciate it. Like
You're getting fluffy.
I am getting a little.
You're getting fluffy, all right? You need to
I just appreciate anybody who
supports me
supports him.
because she's my #1 fan.
Yes.
Do you need some
Why are we
Kleenex?
doing a video? Because like
Yeah, your makeup's gonna run. It's gonna look great.
we're makeup just for this.
So where are we going, podcast host?
Woo!
To therapy or are you...
We got to therapy. No, I'm good.
All right. Just wash it off. Remember when you were in labor and you were just like, I feel nothing? Just do that.
My brother used to do this, where he laugh and he'd be like,
Yeah. That was a thing in like the 2000s.
more like the 90s somethings.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyhow, yeah. Okay, so what did you feel right before going out? Did you think, okay, well, I'm going to win this? Because you mentioned in the Sports Illustrated interview that you didn't really tell anybody because you weren't sure if it's true, and with the wrestling business, you can't really you just can't go off of people's words until it actually happens. So now that it was on paper, now that you're about to head out,
And I passed my COVID test and I got through all those hoops
Yeah.
to get there. Now what? Right before the match.
right before getting out, like going through, not the
What was that
curtains,
feeling?
through the curtains. Yeah. What was the feeling? Were you nervous? Like a different kind of nervous?
I was as nervous as I always am for live pay-per-views because
Yeah.
like anything can happen and you just have to be ready to adjust. And I knew that I wanted to steal the show that everybody was tuning in to see Kenny for. Mm-hmm. Like I knew more eyes would be on it. So all that's going through my head is like that maniacal Michael Jordan type craziness where I'm just like, I'm going to steal the show. Forget about this guy. I'm stealing the show. This is my spot. You know what I mean?
Like I'm
that's-
so hyped right now.
that's how I
I'm
was
so
hyping
excited.
myself
This is
up.
how I felt.
And like, you know, TJP and Ace Awesome, we all wanted to steal the show and
Yeah.
do that. So we were all on the same page and
Yeah.
we went out there and I think we knocked it out of the park.
You think?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a very high bar set in Impact and TNA because of the Unbreakable 2005 three-way and then their rematch later on. But yeah, as far as three-ways go, I'd say we're like top 5 in Impact so far, history. Let's be modest.
Be modest, eh?
I'm
Yeah.
always modest.
Okay, so the match happens. divine intervention for the second time onto Ace Austin. 1, 2, 3. Now what's going through your head?
See, I don't want to make this like suck because like, okay.
What, were you just like, cool?
Okay, that's how Gigi would say I reacted to this, right? No, okay. In that moment, when I like turned over and I grabbed the belt on my waist and I looked at it, there was like a split second where I thought about 13-year-old me watching TNA on Wednesday nights with Isaac, like running inside from backyarding on our trampoline to watch the first thing, and then like seeing AJ Styles and Loki and being like, "What is this?" and like tuning in after that.
Yeah.
So like there was a part of me that thought about 13-year-old me, because if there's one thing I've learned since coming back from my neck injury, especially, it's that and more as I get older and as I keep having these accomplishments, like I never used to slow down to like be like, "Oh, I'm A1 alpha male champion, you know, this is sweet." Like I would just be like, that's a thing I'm doing right now and I have to do something better now, and like just to take in the moment for a second. So like I made sure I did that right then.
Yeah, speaking of a second,
I'm gonna pause this. She's a very tough woman, usually. You got it?
Oh, I'm good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my story is a tragedy, clearly, as you can tell.
No, you just been through a lot of hurdles.
Yep.
And hurdles where like, why did I say I was gonna do a video? Like, and I told you guys, I wasn't gonna have this conversation with him until we did this podcast.
Yeah, this is really the first time.
And like, this is how our conversations actually go when he comes home from like tapings or like pay-per-views or even from his indie shows. We always sit down and we talk, and like it's just us. But like, knowing the hurdles that you went through, and like severe hurdles, like you said, your neck, and with the border issues, being banned, well, not banned, kind of just being told that if you show up, if you show your face, like forget it, that's it. And you know, and even when we were trying to like go on a trip, it was non-wrestling related. It was still in the back of your head, still in the back of my head, kind of like, is this gonna mess it up for his wrestling? Like, anyway, it's been honestly a long road, and not counting like just how long ago you started wrestling, which was 16 years ago.
In November, it'll be 16 years.
Yeah. So not counting that, it's just a lot you went through.
Yeah, I'm happy I did, though.
Yeah.
Because like I don't think I'd be as good or prepared or anything as I am now without all of that. It was all lessons and everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So got that out of the way, so now I can cry all I want. It's not as embarrassing because I've already done it.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll still be embarrassed.
So, okay, so you said just a quick flash of when you look down at the belt, just of your entire career.
Yeah, and I try to think of like that 13-year-old me. I thought of Isaac, I thought of Matt, I thought of like my friends from high school that would be like, oh my God, like looking, if like we were 16 and they were watching my match and I finished, and they were just like, you know, their minds would be blown that this is even a thing, that I ever got this far, that I ever even attempted wrestling. You know what I mean? So that's like, you try to think of things like that to make it special, and then like clearly go back to Stoneface Iceman Josh Alexander, and you know, everyone's like, congratulations, yeah, cool, you know. And then I call you on FaceTime and everybody's losing their minds, and like that's what makes it even cooler.
The kids were hyped. It took a while to like bring them down, because they are never that was the first time ever that they were up that late, and like their adrenaline was up, and that we actually allowed them to have that much excitement. because we all know if you're a parent, if your kids are so excited around bedtime, it takes them forever to calm their body, calm their minds, and to help them fall asleep. So it was, yeah. And then afterwards, I got them to bed, which took an hour, an extra hour.
Your phone's just going crazy.
Yeah, and I didn't look at my phone, right? And I sat down on the couch and I looked up to like just start watching, but then I looked down at my phone and my phone was like, I swiped down on the menu and it was just like boom, 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 boom. Scroll, 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 and then people saying, "Oh, I wonder, I want to know how Jade is," and like, oh, it's just all this stuff that it made me feel super special that somebody's watching you, Russell, but also thinking of me. So thank you so much. It truly warmed my heart. So yeah, I truly did try to watch the pay-per-view, but my eyes were glued on my Twitter and like trying to retweet everything, trying to respond to everybody because I just want them to know that how hyped I am, or just I was just as hyped as them. So yeah, I really didn't look up, and I really tried to look up just to kind of like catch glimpses of the pay-per-view, and I really tried to watch Kenny and Rich, but like my phone was just going and I was just loving it. It was,
Yeah, my Twitter broke. Like I scrolled down and it said like add 20 more or whatever.
yeah.
And I clicked it and it just like went right to the top, and then I went and did it again and it would never refresh.
Yeah.
So like I was just like, oh,
So if you missed
I
your tweets,
I missed a ton of tweets, but like I couldn't see them.
yeah.
Yeah, I usually try to respond to like everybody, with a little something, but
And then that night, like I didn't get to bed till just after 12:30, and that is never a thing for me being a mother because Jet is the early riser. So he's usually up between like 6:30, 6:45ish. And one time I did my photo shoot with Gigi, and I got home late, but I didn't climb into bed till midnight. The next day I was ruined. I was fighting so hard to stay awake. I was fighting so hard to have energy to just get through the day with the kids. And it was hard. But that night that you won the belt, I went to bed past 12:30 in the morning. I woke up nice and bright and like smiling at 6:30. I was still on the high. People were still tweeting about you. I was loving it, and like all day. I was wide awake all day. And it wasn't until like late at night, I'd say about 9 o'clock, that's when I started crashing.
yeah.
Thank goodness. But it just the adrenaline for you, it's just crazy. It was amazing.
You're adorable. Like you're so cute. I mean that the best way. But you feel all the feelings.
What's the worst way?
No, I didn't say worst way.
What's the best way? That's the best way to be cute. Anyhow, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you walk to the back. So you walk through the curtains to get to the back, and then what? Did anyone come up to you?
Yeah. A bunch of people came up to me and congratulated me.
Yeah.
And, like, gave me hugs and said I deserve it and all that stuff, and they're proud of me or whatever. And I just worked my way to the back. I don't remember specifically who. It was a bunch of people. Like, everybody was really nice.
Yeah.
Because of like, I think all wrestlers realize my story has been a little, as you said, tough. So to get to this point and get to this accomplishment, especially after like the tag stuff and just being shot into singles and this happening in the first 4 months, that's like something I didn't expect. I don't think anybody did, but like I'm psyched for it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So good.
And then after that, it was like back to normal, business as usual.
And nobody cares about your title win anymore.
Yeah.
You show up next day.
Show up next day and just, try to steal the show.
Yeah. Now you got to live up to all the names that held that title.
Yeah, and surpass some of them too. But yeah, it meant the X Division title was the one on like my bucket list.
Yeah.
More so than even the heavyweight championship, because like I liked like Christian and Kurt Angle and all these guys that had it, but like when like it was like Jeff Jarrett and Sting, I was watching the X Division.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
now a lot of people, there are some people out there who do not believe you should be in the X Division.
yeah, there are.
What does that bother you to read that?
I mean, nothing online will bother me, but like I just have like this weird thing where like I just want to be like logical with everything, and I realize that like especially in Twitter comments and other things, like logic isn't always applied, but like people look at me and I'm 6'1", 220 pounds or whatever, and everybody else in the division is like definitely under 6 feet and definitely under 190 pounds. So like I don't fit like the mold of what X Division is, and like for people like that, they forget Samoa Joe. And like Bobby Lashley was X Division champion. There's been like a few big guys, but like Samoa Joe was like 6'2", 6'3", like nearly 300 pounds, and he was an X Division guy, and you didn't know the difference because he was just as fast, just as good, just as, same mentality as all the X Division guys. I think X Division is stealing the show. The guy that's gonna go out there and like kill himself trying, and that's always been me. So I think I'm perfect for this, and I'm really psyched to, try to live up to that level and standard.
Yes. Now, a few people have mentioned option C. I personally would love to see you just run through the entire division, run through every single person, and then, just run through the division.
And then
I want you to just kill everybody. That's all.
And then option C, because you said option C.
No.
So like, you would rather me just stay in the X Division, is what you're saying. No option C.
Well, I don't want you to ever lose the belt.
Yeah, but then I'm not really losing it, am I? I'm just like forfeiting it.
Yeah.
I would love to wrestle Kenny. I think probably of anybody in Impact, I'd have the best match with him. Just style-wise, how we match up. And that's just me, personally. Like, there's matches I'd want to see, obviously, but like, I think it would tear it up. Win or lose,
What are your thoughts on this Impact AEW crossover?
I mean, portions of it have been super lame, obviously. I think, especially with the Rich and Kenny thing, like Rich never showed up on Dynamite. I thought that was super strange. But, it's definitely a good thing business-wise. It'll just get more eyes on Impact regardless of what the booking or anything else is. I think there's an opportunity to make stars on both sides by people jumping back and forth a little bit. So some of our guys can show up on Dynamite and showcase ourselves to bring the eyes back to like Thursday nights with Impact, and then like some other guys can come over that might be less experienced and stuff, only doing dark, and show what they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to ask you what you think of it? I mean, you're just gonna RF shoot.
No, we don't have to ask what I think of it.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
This is all about you, though. It's not about
It's
me.
my podcast. I did name it, so.
You did name it.
Yes. So, you're gonna ask me who wants to be on my Survivor Series team or something?
No, that's at the end.
Oh, okay.
Don't try to lead this. The games are my thing.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to think. Like, I just want to talk about the X Division title win some more, just a little bit.
I don't know what else we can speak of.
Going through. So now you travel with the belt.
Yes.
Was there any border issues with that? Like, do they still check your bags and stuff like that?
Not at the border.
No.
The border like literally just waves me through. It's very strange. But when I flew, like it went through the X-ray or whatever. And
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
when it was tag champ, I learned to just like automatically unzip my bag, take it out, put it on its own like tray, and put it through. I didn't even think of that this
You
time.
forgot?
Well, it was in my bag. I put the bag through. It's like 5 a.m, and like the guy just stopped me. He's like, "Hey," and I was like, "What?" And he's just like, "What kind of belt is that?" He didn't open my bag. He saw it in the X-ray because you can see the plate clearly. I was like, "Oh, it's the Impact X Division," and I had like my jumpsuit on, so it was like Impact.
yeah.
He was like, "The TNA," and I go, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, it's cool. See ya." Like, you know what I mean? But that was it.
Oh,
And then I flew back. I didn't bother taking it out of the bag either, and then he just like put it right through. So, if you ever want to travel with like 25 pounds of metal, you'll be fine.
you don't have to take it out.
Yeah.
In that case, you don't have to take out your cell phone, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Yes. And then you finally came home. You were gone for 8 days.
Yes.
So like I couldn't even really celebrate
And
you.
it happened on the first day, so.
I couldn't really celebrate with you. I mean, it's not really a celebration on the phone, but it kind of is. But there's no like in person. You don't get that vibe. Just the smile. Oh, just the smile.
Yeah. And I came home, and you decided to role play a little bit. Yeah. Make a movie and put it online.
So what's funny is I thought I could be funny by putting on one of your old singlets. This is the only singlet you had of yours. And it was dark because you got home late. You got home about like 8 o'clock, just after. So it was getting dark here, and I had all the lights on in the house. And our house has a lot of freaking windows that don't have curtains because it doesn't make sense. There's no use for them. Yeah. So I've got Jet's like blanket wrapped around me of like
Baby
all
blanket.
Yeah, his like panda print. And Jet's like, "Mom, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you a superhero?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm a superhero." But like just windows all around, and neighbors can clearly look inside with the amount of light I had on. We never have all the lights on. Just waiting. I was literally waiting for 10 minutes. We're like, "Yeah, I'll be there in 20." And like 20 minutes rolls by. I'm like, still waiting. Then you finally came in, and I just bursted out laughing.
No,
What?
Before this all happened, as I'm driving, you said, "Hey, don't react to my new look." And I was like, and I was just like, what? And like, you've been talking about this YouTube thing of cutting your own hair because like we're locked down and you have dead ends or something. So like, if you put a
it's
ponytail
gross.
in a certain way, you can just slice it off with an axe or something, and it's perfect. So like, I'm thinking maybe she screwed that up, and I'm gonna come home to like Demi Moore from G.I. Jane. So like, I'm really worried. And then like, maybe you're saying don't react because Jed'll cry because he cried when you were like, he saw your bald ass head. You know, that's what's going through my mind. And then I walk in, and you're just wearing my singlet with like thigh high socks, and I was so relieved because like the other option was we can't have the same haircut. It's not. No.
Although I don't mind doing the whole Serena Deeb.
Oh, I would love it. I've told you, but I need to grow my hair out.
But anyway, yes, I'm thinking of doing I haven't even looked for any YouTube tutorials, but apparently you just put your hair in a certain way in a ponytail, and then you just like cut it, and then it just comes all coiffed. I really just need to cut my ends off, and then if it's
sound too good to be true though.
I feel no, I don't know. I really do. Okay, we got 2 more weeks of this stay-at-home stuff.
Oh, it's gonna go far beyond that. You're out of your mind. Sorry, pessimism.
Well, I hope everyone in the States
Enjoys their freedom.
is enjoying their freedom, because we have stuff blocked off that are deemed non-essential.
This is the rant. Here we go.
This is the rant. You know what?
I went to Walmart the other day, and
pissed.
guess what? I can't even buy my son underwear. It's crazy, right?
You can buy these things online, and then the government's talking about, okay, don't shop at big box stores and stuff like that. So they're talking about Amazon. They're talking about whatever. Costco.
Pretty much just Amazon.
But I love Amazon, sorry, because it's simple, it's easy, it comes quick. But there's some things that you cannot just buy online. There's things that you need to look before you look at the actual object before you buy it. And it just pisses me off. They totally block off the aisle. They put like a string over it, and then they block it with objects, with stuff. I've been trying to avoid Walmart, and I usually do a Walmart run like every other week just for essentials when I get there because it's super cheap. But I've gone like a month, and we were like, we had nothing. We had nothing. I needed to get like toothpaste now, like it's been a while, and stuff like that, right? Necessities. So I worked up the courage, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go. And it just pissed me off, and I knew it. This is why I didn't want to go, because I would just be pissed. It pisses me off that the government thinks that they can decide what is essential for each individual. And at first, I think, I could be wrong, that they had like baby car seats taped off.
Yeah, they have bikes taped off. They have everything.
Yeah, they have bikes taped off, but they had like baby car seats. And they're trying to say that that's not essential, but
They had the masks taped off.
yeah, they had the masks taped off.
You can't buy a mask.
Because it was part of the clothing department. All the masks were there, so like, how the heck could you get them? I mean, they had some in the aisles where they usually like showcase certain stuff, but still, it's just, it makes them look so stupid.
I think what you're trying to say, to sum this all up, is that it's all like, it's complete nonsense, the rule they made up, because are you more likely to get the coronavirus from aisle 17 only? Like, is taking out that aisle really gonna save like any transmission? You're already in Walmart, you already got to line up beside everybody. Like, it's just, that's where the frustration is, because the rule doesn't make logical sense.
Not only that, Jet's birthday is coming up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's coming up in a few weeks, and I need to see what, like, these days these toys could be like so expensive, but they're like this tiny. So I need to see these things in person before I just buy them online somewhere. Can't even do that because the aisle's all blocked off. Can't even walk through.
Your child's birthday is not essential, okay?
Jeez, like, it's so frustrating.
Yes, it is.
If you can't tell, we're frustrated.
It's been 14 months of nonstop. Can't go on a date to a restaurant because they're all closed and anything. Like, it's wild. Anyway.
Although we did go on a date thanks to Saber.
Yes, but okay. 2 dates in 14 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Saber
we'll have our next
ass
one
a
this
couple
rate
times.
in September. Looking forward to it. So
Yes.
let's get off the frustrated Rona talk and get back to you crying.
You want me to cry again?
No, I think they want you to cry some more.
No,
Yeah.
come on. No, we want... Oh, well, I was going to say we want a happy Jade, but my tears were happy tears.
So here they come.
No, let's talk about, do you mind getting a little bit personal?
Sure.
While we're recording right now is actually Mental Health Week in Canada, but I think it's Mental Health Month for like in the States,
No idea.
everywhere.
I don't know.
Anyhow, let's bring some light, and we touched on this a little bit with with the previous episode with Jessica Havoc, episode 13, and I would love for you guys to check it out if you haven't. It's she really has a beautiful story. She is an absolute gem, super genuine, warm-hearted person. And if you don't know her, you will get to know the type of person that she is through that episode. She had mentioned body dysmorphia.
I heard. And you outed me.
I didn't out you. You have been open about it. You didn't mention it. So that is the only reason why I knew I'd be allowed to say something. And not only that, I think it's important for people who look up to you guys, right?
Yeah.
To know that you do have issues that you fight with yourself. So it's not like I hate when celebrities or just anybody just paint themselves as the perfect Barbie doll, and that nothing, and with mom influencers on Instagram, they paint that their life is perfect and all this stuff, but it's really not. Instagram is such a fake place. I guess all of social media, really. And I know that when I post like my stories with Jet, it's usually, like it's usually like play or whatever he's learning, or something fun. And sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like thinking, he had like a couple tantrums. I should really put that out, because then I don't want people to think that we're just like a completely perfect family.
Get a video of him painting poo on the wall with his finger or something.
Well, he doesn't do that anymore, thank goodness.
Or pooping in the bathtub.
But at that moment, you don't think about like recording. You don't think about recording, his tantrum or whatever. But anyhow, my main point is,
next time he cries, I'm just gonna film him. I'm not gonna help him at
no,
all. I'm just gonna
I know
film the
that's
entire thing.
But my main, my main message that I want to get across is that some of us, pretty much almost all of us, I could probably say, that we have something, we have an issue. I have stuff for myself. I don't think you really talk about your issue or have gone on like a, on a platform to talk about it. So I think it'll be good for those who do live with body dysmorphia to hear your story, to hear what you see and what, how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
So I guess we could start off with, where did it stem from?
I was just an obese child. I had a terrible, I still fight with my relationship with food. This past year has been the most successful I've ever been at, like, sticking to something that like is healthy for me and like logical, instead of like overeating all the time. Because I don't know why. I think food was just like Jess said, like she would get ice cream every time, like her mom would get her ice cream every time she had a bad day or something like that, or like a Happy Meal or something like that. Like much in the same, like I had a rough childhood, so things were always covered up with, oh, that happened at your dad's, we're picking you up and we'll take you to breakfast or something. And it's like pancakes and maple syrup, and it's like all those synapses in your brain fire that this is like good things. So like anytime anything bad happens, I'd always like go to eat, and like I wouldn't just eat, and like now I eat until I'm satiated. Like I don't eat until I'm in pain. Like I used to just, I'd be like, oh, there's 2 more pizza pockets, I just had 4. Yeah, I'm not that full, I can do it. And like you wouldn't think about like now I think about the consequences of that, because I know that's like 7,000 calories and my body should only need like 3,000 or something. It's just like, I don't think any of our parents talked to us about like nutrition and stuff like that. So like it just set off a terrible relationship with food. So I ate like poutine every day. Me and Isaac would go to McDonald's at lunch and try to see who could eat more Big Macs. Like it was just like, it was awful. But I became like 300 pounds by the time I was like grade 11. And then I remember I was going into grade 12, and it was like coming up, creeping on like November, December. So I knew like prom was right around the corner. I remember for Christmas, I asked for like my mom to like pay for like a dietitian or whatever. And she put me on Herbal Magic. And I went from like 280 something at my peak to like, I think I went to 230, 225. And that was just like doing like the food triangle. You're allowed 3 helpings of this, 2 helpings of this, and yada yada. So just like controlled what I ate, and I lost weight, but like I still looked terrible. But like anytime I look in the mirror, I'd still see that guy that was 300 pounds. And then wrestling just didn't help. Like I never had self-confidence as a kid anyway. When I started wrestling, that's the first thing that ever gave me like confidence. So like I didn't think I could be a wrestler initially, because I looked at someone like Randy Orton. I was like, that guy literally like crawled out of the womb with a 6-pack and like, You know what I mean? Like he barely had to like work for it, which I don't even know if is true, but like to me these guys are just born this way. They're like super soldiers. And I'm clearly not by how I look, and how could I be a wrestler? So like that was my outlook. But then like I loved wrestling so much, and it started giving me self-confidence and giving me like motivation to just like be better so that I could do it. I just started picking away, and like I've been working out for like 13 years, 5 days a week at least. It used to be like 7 days a week and an hour of cardio every day for like 3 years, which, you know, is detrimental. Like I was overworking myself clearly, but I still like the body dysmorphia portion is just like, it's like you look in the mirror and you see your old self. You don't see any of the new developments or any of the hard work paying off. And sometimes I do. And I try to get like more courage, or I get more courage to like just be like, yeah, this is me. Like it wasn't until last summer I would mow the lawn with my shirt off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was a big step for me.
It was.
And it's like you might think I want to show off or something like that, but to me it was just like I don't want to get a farmer's tan and have to wrestle with like just my forearms sunburnt because I'm gonna be lit on fire by the time I'm done mowing the lawn. But like B, it's like I should be comfortable because like I've been working hard and I'm doing all this stuff. So like I need to get comfortable with in my own skin, and I'm still not. But the thing is, like, people equate like me having body dysmorphia. Like some people will be like, oh, you know, like it's like that old school like masculinity thing where like I'm less of a man or something because I suffer from something. And like I think a lot of people, maybe in wrestling or just anywhere, have kind of like that outlook. A lot of men especially, they don't want to like talk about this stuff, but like I know wrestlers that look like fantastic, like way better than me, that have all these issues too. And it's just the wrestling business as well, because like I said, you look at someone like Randy Orton, you're like, that guy looks like he's made of stone. You know, I want to look, that's the bar you set, and you're like, you know, like you're never going to attain it. Like it's crazy. But it's like now at the point I've gotten, I'm very content and happy and confident with like how I look. I still want to better myself because like I've become addicted to the gym and stuff like that. Like I keep wanting to work for something. So I don't know if body dysmorphia will ever go away, but I'll, you know, keep working out and keep trying.
So what goes through your head? Because it's not like an everyday thing it's not an everyday feeling, or is it? Because there's some, I think you ask me, those times where you ask me, do you see a difference?
Yeah.
And truthfully, it's hard for me because I see him every day. But when I do see it and I do answer, I'd say about 3 times a year, you would say, oh no, like, oh, I don't see that. And then you like start touching that body part.
Yeah.
But like, what goes through your mind?
Oh, it's just like the second the second somebody walks near me, my shirt's tight or something, I'm like, oh, my love handle's sticking out, or like, you know what I mean? Like that thing that's might not even be there anymore, you know? And it's just like, I get self-conscious about all these things that used to be trigger spots for me or something like that. And like, I'm very self-conscious about my bicep, and I'm very self-conscious about my pec because they're torn and they look mangled. But like, you know, that's like where the confidence issues are, you know? So like when you point things out, and I'm just like, oh no, there's no way. Because like when I look in the mirror, I immediately see like the torn pec, the torn bicep, the stretch marks from when I was super big, you know what I mean? Like I look at the negatives, and like, yeah. I know I got to train myself not to, but like, I don't know.
You can't. It just doesn't work that way. I
will say like body dysmorphia and like the being overweight thing, like none of it affects me in a wrestling capacity anymore. Like I've gotten to the point, probably it was after we got married, maybe a year or two after we got married, when I just started working out more consistently and stuff, that like I got this confidence that I look like a wrestler now. Like, because before that, like before we got married, any job I ever had, I never told them I was a wrestler.
Oh, really?
I hit it from every job I've had. Full-time jobs. Like I've had people hit me up on Facebook in the last like 2 years being like, "Yo, I worked with you for this long and I see you on YouTube now." Like,
Why?
because I didn't look like a wrestler. I felt like if I told them I was a wrestler, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, okay, kid, you have fun with that." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like I was just like, I'm not a wrestler. Like I don't look like a wrestler. And I remember there was some, I can't remember what it was. It might have been like a nutrition house or something. Like I went in to buy some stuff and they're just like, "Yo, are you a wrestler?" Or like it was like TSA agent, and I was just like, "You're a wrestler?" And I was just like, yeah, why? And is it my ear?" And it's like, "Oh no, I didn't see the ear. You just look like a big dude." You know what I mean? And I was just like, "Oh, well, you know, that's what I'm going for. I want to look like I can kick someone's ass because that's my job." Yeah.
You keep me moving the mic.
Is it vibrating?
It'll get the vibration sounds.
It's the competition of our sexy voices. Yeah. Sometimes you say some things when I'm listening to that podcast. I'm like,
Really?
comes
Like
full
what?
circle. Comes full circle.
Like what? It's probably when
I
I'm
can't
tired.
give you an example.
Is it near the end
No, because
usually?
you have like, "Hey, it's your girl Jay Chung.
It's your
What's
girl."
up, y'all?"
I
And you have
know,
like a
right?
very soft voice. I'm like, who is this woman? Like, you never sound like this when you talk to
It's
me.
probably like near the end of the podcast.
It's like your dirty talk voice. It's weird.
Oh my god.
Is that too much?
Are you sure it's not near the end where I'm like tired?
I don't know. Well, yeah, it usually is your intros. So.
Oh, it's my intro?
Yeah, and you do those after usually, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just gotta tire you out and tell you to whisper sweet things in my ear. All right.
There you go.
There you go.
That's good.
Why are you blushing?
Good talk. Okay, listen, we're talking about a serious thing and you're making me laugh, which is kind of rude of you.
Don't lose your train of thought.
When was the last time you felt like my body's still not good?
Oh, 6 weeks ago? A month ago?
And why is that?
Because like, I mean, when I first started this diet, it was like a cheat meal every 2 months. And like that was okay in my head. Because like I would recover really fast. And then it got to be like, it was like October through February. It was like I was approved for like 6 cheat meals. So I just felt like I wasn't doing anything. And like if I mentally don't feel like I'm doing, like working hard and like eating properly and like really dedicated, then like I'll just make myself, like I think like I can just make my head makes it true. You know what I mean? So I had a cheat meal and I just like I felt fat and like I had some bad workouts because I threw at my back really bad at tapings.
Right, yeah.
And like so like I couldn't work as hard as I was. That's it.
Yeah, a lot of the times, injuries.
Which is so strange because I got corona and like I powered through that doing like an hour of cardio every day to make sure my lungs were like exercised. And like I remember like I got the leanest I ever was in like December after that.
And we should mention, since we're talking about your diet and training and stuff, we should mention Rico Montana, who sets you up.
Yes, he does.
And you've been with him for almost a year now, I think. So anybody, and he works virtually, so it's not something where you have to meet with him. If you want to contact him, he's on Instagram at Rico Montana 1.
Yeah, and I will say this, like, I had no idea how to eat. I thought I knew. What?
I'm just checking to make sure there's no like underscore.
Oh, I thought I knew how to eat. I worked out. I got in good shape for periods of time, and then it would go away, and then I would have to work hard, and it would come back. Like it was always a cyclical thing. And then finally, I got fed up with the yo-yoing of it, and I called Rico and asked him, and he's just told me I was eating all wrong. So I eat more carbohydrates than ever now, and it's all like a science of not starving yourself, because when you starve yourself, your body stores everything as fat because they think you're not going to get food. So it's a sweet balance of that, and he updates it all the time. And here's his Twitter handle or his Instagram.
Yeah, it was
handle.
actually really funny because I opened Instagram and he popped up, so he made it easy for me. Okay, guys, at Rico Montana _1. So RICOMONTANA_1. And actually, I also had him on my podcast here as a guest. Check it out, guys. That podcast was 3 hours, but don't let that scare you. Rico was an ex-wrestler as well who traveled the world and was successful and was an actor. So you got to listen to his crazy story. I'm going to have him back on because he's got a ton more stories that he hasn't shared yet. And if you listen to the podcast I had with him, it's absolutely bonkers. So I can't wait to have him back on and listen to his stories because I don't know them. And that interview, it was my first time ever talking to him. And I only knew of his name through Josh because he was helping him out. So I didn't even know any of his background. So it was so cool to it was cool to learn about him and talk to him. So anyway, if you're looking for any help with diet, training, whatever, hit Rico up. He does it virtually. So you could be in the States, you could be anywhere in the world, and he'll help you.
Yeah. And like I said, he sends me my meals. I eat exactly what he writes out, which is like he gives me 11 options or something for meals, and I can eat 5 of them a day. And then I weigh myself every day. Every Friday I measure my waistband. I send it to him and he makes adjustments if they're needed. So he'll lower calories, he'll up calories, he'll do other things.
Yeah, so it's important to know that he'll help you out that way, but he adjusts things to what your body is getting used to.
Yeah, meet
right?
your goals.
Yes, yeah. And it's not just, he's not just a guy who just says, okay, well, we'll try this plan today. Okay, we'll try this plan. He will adjust it from going off of what your body is reacting to.
Yeah, and it's all like real food. It's not like crazy protein bars. Like he doesn't believe in supplements or anything like that. He believes in just real nutrition. Mm-hmm. So it's cool. You don't starve yourself.
Yes.
I'm happy about it.
Okay, so back to body dysmorphia.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that. Did it feel weird for you to talk about that? And not only to like me, and then not only on camera, but how did it make you feel?
No, it didn't feel weird. I think like a lot of people in wrestling have this, like I've grown this identity of being this like, what would you describe me as? Or what would other people describe me as?
Other people as like scary a-hole?
Scary a-hole. Scary, standoffish, quiet, intimidating.
That's a-hole wrapped in one.
Intimidating isn't,
people just think,
I'm not mean to people, but they think I'm going to be mean. And then they meet me and they're like, oh, pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I've built this reputation, or I have this reputation.
Or they think you're really stiff.
Yeah, and this reputation actually helps me a lot because whatever the wrestlers pick up on and sell, like the fans clearly pick up on as well. So the second I come out of the curtain, people get all those vibes. They're just like, this guy's going to kick somebody's ass or he's a jerk or something like that. But like what I'm saying is I've grown this reputation or whatever, and it's helped me very much in my career because of that. So like talking about vulnerability when people think I'm just like this hardened, like, doesn't feel a thing is, it's interesting. And I think it's important because like what I am now, yes, I'm tough or stupid, but like, I don't think there's very many people out there that are in the wrestling business that are as tough as me or have persevered through more than me. And like, to be able to say that I didn't start perfect and I had to work this way, like it was bumps on the road. It was all these like roadblocks you had to overcome. And it was just like, I persevered because I'm passionate about wrestling. It's the only thing I want to do. And that's the only thing that got me through it. And that's the only thing that ever got me in front of a crowd of people wearing spandex with my fat gut hanging out when I was 21 years old. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Is there anything you'd like to share with our amazing viewers?
I mean, it's your podcast. You could really ask me questions.
I was kind of hoping you would just
I'm less than interesting, but
I was hoping you'd lead the way for this one.
No,
test.
It's not because of the exhibition thing. I've been thinking about this for a bit. Like I was telling you, I was thinking about like the early years of my career and all this stuff. And like over the years, you grow apart from people, and like you forget what like those people did to you. So like, or did for you. So like when I started first initially training at that like school that didn't have a trainer, I told you about Justin Sane and how like I took my first bump, and like I hit my head, and the guy was just like, "Oh, tuck your head next time," and I did it, and he was like, "Oh, perfect, good job," and he was like, "Can you do a somersault?" And I'm just like, and land on my back, like, yeah, like a wrestler taking a hip toss or something. I'm like, yeah, I think so, and I did it, and he was like, "Oh, good job, you did perfect, like I can't believe you got all the way around for like somebody your size so easily." And it was because like I had a trampoline when I was a kid, so I was practicing and stuff, obviously, but like I just remember standing up, going back, he's like, "Get in the line, and you can be in the move line now." And I was there, and Justin Sane turned around, and he's like, "Was that your first bump?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's crazy, I've never seen anybody pick it up like that. That was so fast." And like he just turned around like nonchalant, and I was just like, it hit me like a tidal wave. I was just like, oh my god, I did something good. Somebody just complimented me on something.
Oh.
I'm good at something. Oh my god, I'm good at this. Maybe I'm good at this. And like that's where the obsession began. And like I had zero confidence. I was shaking in front of everybody when I fell. I was shaking when I had to get into the move line because I didn't know what was going on. And like I was afraid that people weren't like, I didn't have a lot of friends, so like I didn't know how to communicate with people and socialize. So like I didn't know all these people, but the second he said that, it just like gave me this comfort, and I was just like, oh, this is like a community. This is like something I can like thrive in, and like so like I never get to say thanks for that because like thinking back to it, like there's all these people like Steve Brown, like I've been around Steve Brown and like I bust his balls and all this other stuff, but like when I think about it, like he was the first guy that ever booked me, and he booked me. I wasn't like a good wrestler. Like I might have been better than people he was booking already, but like I was like brand new 2 months into training or whatever, and he booked me on a show, and like I didn't get paid for it, or if I did, it was like $5. But like just that, like him being like, hey, you should keep doing with this, and you know what I mean. And like it welcomed me to the community. So like I never get to thank Steve Brown, so like I can do that, and like yeah, there's just so many people along the way that like the stuff that Johnny Devine did for me, when I think back to it, like I didn't see it at the time, and I certainly didn't see it like immediately afterwards. But like now as like an adult, a mature, like, you know, 33-year-old man, looking back at like what I had to go through when I was like 21, and what he did for me back then, like it was invaluable to making me the person I am today. So I say thank you to him.
How did you find Johnny?
He was so Elgin used to come to training at our backyard school thing, and we would just because I was there every single day, he would just randomly show up, and I'd have a key and I'd open it up, and we'd just do practice matches. Like we'd call like 2-hour Ironmans in the ring, just to be in the ring. And it was through him I got booked on a show in Oshawa, which was like my first paid show. And I went to it, and Johnny Devine was in the main event, and like terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Him, Jake O'Reilly, Cody Deaner, Sean Spears, Tyson Dukes, all these guys were just so terrifying because I was coming in as like I was like the outlaw kid from the shitty wrestling school that was booked on the show, and like I was fat and I was young and pale and I had acne, and they're like, what is he doing here? But Elgin was like, he's really good for like how new he is and how big he is and all that stuff, and Elgin like gave me that booking. But like at that booking I met Johnny Devine, and he was the most intimidating person I've ever met in wrestling.
So you learned it from him?
I think it rubbed off on me because I was like his star pupil after I trained with him, and I think people just like, and like I changed the entire way I wrestled and the entire way I carried myself because of how he trained me. And yeah, so like he scared the shit out of me, and he just kept going on these tirades on the Ontario indie boards, and a bunch of people were, about how the quality of talent on shows is ruining the draws. So like guys like me, or like even lesser than me, would get booked in spots because they take, you know, $10 instead of $50 or something. And it was ruining the draws because the shows would suffer for it. And he was like, there's no good trainers in Ontario. He's like, I'm opening a school. And it was convenient because he lived right across the street from a place called Primetime Boxing in Oakville on Lakeshore, and it was a boxing gym. And I don't know if you've been in a boxing ring, but there's no give, and there's very little padding.
The ropes are like droopy.
Yeah, there's no rope running at all. And he said he was having tryouts on the indie board, which was like a thing. Message boards used to be a thing before Reddit ever existed and social media. But so I was like, oh, what the hell? I'll go. And I went, and there was like me and like 5 or 6 other people. Mm-hmm. And we had to do like 500 Hindu squats and like 200 push-ups. And like, I'm telling you, 18 or 19-year-old me had never done more than 25 Hindu squats. Like, I didn't even know what a Hindu squat was. Like, I wasn't working out at this time. I was just wrestling. And like, after 60 of them, I was in agony, just wanting to quit. And just, he was so terrifying. I didn't. Like, my legs went numb. I just like powered through it. And like, that was like the first lesson of like, I can do whatever I need to do. You know, I just think less of myself, that I can't do it all the time, instead of, you know, like thinking I can and pushing myself. But I made the cut, and so did 4 other people. And I think it was like, he said like 20 or 30 people tried out, because he there was no overhead. It was right across the street from his house. He was renting like 2 hours every 2 days from this, just to use the ring portion. Like, people would still work out in the gym all around us as we were training. So it couldn't have been that expensive for the rent for the place.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter to him. He just wanted to turn out good students. Like, it was quality over quantity. And yeah, like I said, it was tough training, and it prepared me for the wrestling business. And there was stuff I was going through with like my mother and my father and my stepfather at the time. That was all stuff that could have easily broken me and made me give up. But he let me not pay for like 4 months, because he said he saw potential in me. And then I, of course, made it up to him and paid it all off after. But like, where I don't think he would have been as lenient with other people, he was lenient with me, because I think he saw how passionate I was and how hard I worked and how quickly I picked up on stuff. You know?
That's so sweet.
Yeah, and like, he's like a very misunderstood individual, especially in the wrestling business, because he's got a temper, and like, he doesn't have any patience for like anything less than like being genuine and being the best, or whatever you can be. And yeah, I think the world of the guy. But like, obviously we went to Raw together and stuff like that, and
yeah, that's nice. At what point did I'm trying to think, at what point did you think, oh, I'm pretty much like Johnny? Because how you were saying how he was intimidating and scary and all that, and now looking at yourself through like other people's eyes, that's how people see you.
It was before Alpha One ever started, so it was like 2008, I want to say. So it was like 3 or 4 years into wrestling. And I remember it was when I changed. I used to wear like tassels and be like kind of like more flamboyant, because I was like a fat kid. I didn't look like a kick your ass, you know what I mean? But then after he trained me, my work was so good that like I could finally present myself like that if I just got like the look down. So I changed my gear. I got like low cut boots. I did no knee pads for a while. I got a different cut on my singlet, looked more serious, no tassels and stuff like that. And I remember it was just a show, and I was just like, I was a baby face, and like I'd always stress about being a baby face, because you have to make people like you. So like, what's the first thing people do when they come to the curtain? They go, come on, insert town I'm in, please love me. And they just beg for affection right away. And I remember I was just like, I do that because the heel in the match, usually like a Jake O'Reilly or all these guys that were like more experienced than me, would be like, you better get over as a babyface to make this match easier and stuff. And they would be like, and then finally I was just on a show, and I was 3 years in, and like I had been fucked with so many times by like all these guys, like not those guys specifically, but like other people. And I was just like, I'm not taking any shit anymore. Like I wrestled Divine probably around this time, and he just came up to me and said, I'll see you out there. And I went, what are we doing? He's like, I don't know, we'll see you out there. So all I knew was my music's gonna hit, I'm gonna walk to the ring. And we wrestled for 20 minutes. He called the entire thing on the fly. And we got to the back, and I just like, it was like the most pressure that was ever put on me. And I got to the back, and like I was just like, that was cool. And he goes, you're literally the best wrestler in Ontario. And I was like, what? And he's just like, I could wrestle an experienced guy. I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, you You hit a home run. And I was just like, man, maybe I am pretty good at this. And it was like the validation of like, I'm a good wrestler now. So like that's when I started taking myself more seriously, and just the presentation of taking myself more seriously, and always giving way more than 100% on every show I was on and stuff like that, just garnered this reputation of like, if you're wrestling me, you're gonna have to work your ass off, because like I'll make sure of it. And then that transpired into like my attitude for everything. So like that, I think that's where like the rep came from.
Yeah, there's never been
Like I've never yelled at anybody. I've never like beaten anybody up. I've never bullied anybody. Like I've never done anything to like garner this like, it's Josh, you know? It's just my face. And like I don't get overly excited for much.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that with every single one of your matches, you always say that you're going to, you know, you're going to make it the best match of the night.
Yeah.
And like every single time. So which I always say, okay, have fun, be safe, but kill it.
Yeah.
And be safe is like the number one.
I lost my train of thought with the come on thing. What I meant was, I just like, I remember one day consciously, it was after that Divine match, I was thinking about it. I was like, why do I do that? It's so lame. Like if I was a fan, I would not be like, oh, I want to get behind this guy and cheer for this guy because he's like begging me to clap for him. Like I wouldn't, like all of a sudden I just thought of it logically. I was like, this makes no sense. So it was just like my music hit and I literally just walked out and I was just like, rolled in the ring, had some confidence about me. Like I was faking it clearly, but I had some confidence about me rather than like insecure, like, please, everybody here, I'm the good guy. You know what I mean? And then I got in the ring and I wrestled my match. And by the end of the match, everybody was cheering for me. The start of the match, they didn't know what to think of me. But my work and everything that happened in the match, I was just like, oh, I can be a babyface without begging for it. I can just be me, and my wrestling will set me out, like, up to be like the babyface of the match. You know what I mean? Just because it's exceptional.
There you go, guys. See, not only this is a See You Next Tuesday podcast, but this is a See You Next Tuesday seminar.
It's a masterclass with Josh Alexander.
There you go.
There you go. Sorry.
There, you don't have to like cheer and jump for joy as soon as you get out of the curtain.
Think of it logically. It's disingenuous.
Which I for sure have done.
Everybody's done it. Because everybody is scared shitless when they walk out and they're like, people have to like me? How do you make people like me? You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think. Like, there was a show in California. We were in this gymnasium. So there was bleachers all the way around. The ring was right dead smack in the middle of the basketball court with some chairs around there. And people up on the bleachers. And I was a face, and I came out doing all that, like cheery, like, hey, how are you? But then I ran through. Can you please stop hitting
I was doing
the
what you're
microphone?
doing for your entrance, probably. What are you doing though?
The Eddie Guerrero shake?
Yeah.
I ran around to the bleachers and hyped them up, whatever. We'll call it a hype. The like, come on, blah, blah. I was actually, someone gave me props for that. Because not one single person included all the people from the bleachers. Mm-hmm. They only acknowledged those that were sitting on the floor.
Did you do the Trish point?
Did I?
You probably did.
I probably did.
Yeah, that's how you pointed to the bleachers.
Just be like, hey.
Yeah, I see you.
I see every single one of you. Yeah. Kind of like when WWE came to Toronto at the CNE, and we were just going to this exhibition, this amusement park place for the day with my family when I was little, and WWE happened to be there, so my brother and I begged my parents for us to go, and so they bought tickets. So we were like all the way but fuck, like up there. And Shawn Michaels won. He's clearly my favorite wrestler. And he stood up on the speakers, and he stood up and he like pointed. I'm like, oh my God, he pointed to me. And I took pictures. And then when I got them developed, he was like this tiny, this tiny in the picture.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not allowed to shave my chest hair.
Yeah. I'm the one who told him to grow his chest hair.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I like it.
Yeah, you love it now.
Yeah.
Very manly. You matured into it.
I had to grow up.
All right.
Yeah.
How about a game?
Sure.
So I tried. I didn't get to this or that questions. And I can't really do the rapid fire with you because you've already done it. So we're going to do a Survivor Series. Okay, you're going to pick 4 other X Division title holders from the past
Yeah.
that you would want on your squad.
Really?
What?
I mean, okay. Samoa Joe.
But why are you saying it like that? Because you just got it all in your head right now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then good. Well, people don't know.
Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Because he was the most revolutionary member of the X Division of all time.
Yes.
I don't care what anybody says. I know Amazing Red did amazing things, and no pun intended, but like Samoa Joe came in as this big fat Samoan, and he just tore it up and like moved at a pace that like I've never seen before. Number 2, Loki, because Loki was the first person I ever saw that made me think like wrestling was possible. I was like, this guy's 160 pounds soaking wet, but he looks larger than life, and just the way he worked, how snug he worked and stuff, and how realistic it was just, it drew me in. 3rd, AJ Styles. Duh. The greatest X Division competitor of all time. He probably won, by the time it's all said and done, he might be the greatest wrestler of all time. Like, you know, we might figure that out. And then one more.
One more. Yep. Because you're the 5th.
I will try to pick, you know, I'm going to go with Petey Williams.
Oh.
Yeah. Because Petey Williams, it was peak time for me to be like, Team Canada is the best, because like the Hart Foundation was my shit too. And now this is like the next best thing. And I liked Petey way more than Eric Young and Bobby Roode and all those guys, because Petey like would have these crazy matches. I was never like super into like the Destroyer as much, because like I thought everything else was like much more entertaining. He had this crazy match with AJ Styles at like, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it was the thing that made me a Petey guy. And now I get to be a tag with him
Yes.
and everything, so that's pretty cool.
How cool was it to have the Steiner math given to you, given about you from Petey Williams?
Little behind the scenes thing here. About half an hour before that promo, I'm super gluing his chin shut because he sliced his chin like all the way. And for some reason, like the paramedic that was there didn't know how to do it, so I just did it. So he could stay and do the promo instead of going and getting stitches. And but anyway, we step into the promo, and that was the first and only take. I literally came in, said my piece
Amazing.
or whatever. You know, I didn't know what I was going to say. I just said it, and I just knew he was going to come in, and then he comes in, and like, if you watch my reaction to that thing, like, I'm just like, is he still going? Is this just, oh my, this is like the legit thing. Like, he just knocked it out of the park, and then like, mic dropped and walked off. It was wild. You crying from that story?
No. Sorry, my eyelash. Yeah, that was insane. I couldn't believe. You weren't here. I think you were at.
I was probably here.
Were you?
Yeah.
When I looked up and then I saw Petey come out like that, I'm like, no way. Because they hinted at the Steiner math, because during the commercial break, they showed
Like the throwback.
the throwback Steiner math. Oh my gosh. That was like the best thing ever.
Yeah. It was very impressive, and on one take. And like, he wasn't like walking around with a phone, like reading his lines or anything. He wasn't, it was all in his head. Like, I guess he's done it 1,000 times.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've won the X Division title. You've pinned Ace Austin again.
Yep.
What's next? Who are your next opponents that you want to mix it up with?
I would love to wrestle Chris Bay. I would love.
And have you yet? Like in the indies at all?
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
we've been in like a 6-man tag and a 6-way together, I think. But other than that, Chris Bay, I think he's like super talented, and we'd have good chemistry.
I just followed him
Yeah.
on Twitter. And then his next posts were of his Jordans, and I said, yep, this is definitely why I'm
The
following
content
him.
you're here for. Rohit,
Yes.
I think I could have an exceptional match with Rohit. I just don't think anybody. It's not that like, I don't think that he protects his stuff as much. So like, I think he doesn't like. He just wants to be like malleable and whatever. But like, if you really put over his stuff, it looks so good. I think it would be an awesome match. And I'd like to run it back with TJP. I think he's beaten me twice. I've beaten him once. I at least want to even it up.
Yeah.
So.
Jet's favorite match.
It's true. He does do the hood push back with his hand.
But he does the arm out.
Yeah.
And I think it's from when he's like on the turnbuckle.
Yeah, he leans into the.
Yeah, he leans into it. Yeah, Jet started doing that. It was hilarious. I'm like, wait a second, you're doing the wrong guy.
Yeah, and other than those, the Forbidden Door is apparently open, and there's stars internationally coming in. And if they're international stars, I think they should start in the X Division. So I'm hoping like AAA will send up Vikingo and some other people. That'd be sweet. Mm-hmm. And then people want to send some Japanese talent over. I'm all about match of the nights, so let's keep it going.
Okay, so let's bring it up again because those doors are open with AEW. Who is one person that you'd want to mix it up with over there?
X Division, Pac.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah.
And if it's not X Division, it's just a regular match, Eddie Kingston. Mm-hmm. I think if you put the matches me and Eddie Kingston could have on a moment's notice on a television program, it'll stand out.
Yes. Yeah. You always want to wrestle Eddie, though, because you guys everyone gets freaked out and everyone loves it because
it's very physical.
They kill each other.
Yeah. But we're so good at knowing what we're doing that we don't kill each other, but we're killing each other. You definitely feel it the next day, but like, I'm not going to be put in the hospital.
Yes.
Whereas people think I should be like in an ICU bed afterwards, probably.
Okay, let's talk about your upcoming shows. Which I'm so jealous because I myself just want to go to a show and it sucks. And here in Canada, obviously, we're restricted and it's not happening. So, pains me to see, but I'm happy that you get to go to these indie shows and get some normalcy in your life and seeing fans and hearing fans cheer for you. Next show you have is the 22nd.
Yes.
And that's at Glory Pro. So if you're in St. Louis.
St. Louis. Yeah. I think only Nelly called it St. Louis once.
Oh. That's probably why I call it St. Louis.
Like, St. Louis.
Okay, so it's St. Louis?
St.
Okay.
Louis, yeah.
He'll be in St. Louis May 22nd. Tickets are still on sale, so go head over to Glory Wrestling. I don't know their handle.
Glory Pro Wrestling. Just Google it. Glory Pro, I think. Anyway, there. May
and
29th, my birthday.
May 29th is Josh's birthday. Are you actually going to be home for that this year?
I'm booked.
You're booked?
Yeah.
Where the heck are you?
Pittsburgh. I thought you would have seen the poster. I've been retweeting it for 3 weeks.
I'm just finding out about this. What, IWC?
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay.
I after we get off the video, I will tell you the story of the time I told you this, and then it will come to your mind.
So this is what we do. Like every 2 months.
I talk, you say you're listening.
Every 2 months, I have to bring out my calendar, and then he brings out his so I could write it. But I didn't do May yet. Okay, so
we'll be celebrating my birthday on the 30th.
We are?
Well, if you want to.
Are you coming back that night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're just going for that day?
Yeah.
What day is that? Saturday?
Saturday.
What about Friday?
Sure.
Or, okay. Dang.
Maybe after the shows.
Did I get to see you last year for your birthday?
No. I got a cupcake shoved in my face at tapings, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I messaged Scott.
Is this the content people want?
Yeah, this is real life. It really is real life because I really don't know his schedule.
Our schedules?
Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we schedule things. Yes, last year for his birthday, he was at Impact Tapings, and I text Scott Demore the morning of because I didn't get to spend it with him. I don't really get to spend any of them with you on your actual day.
That's because I don't value my own birthday. I'd sooner
No.
be here for the children's.
I'd rather you be wrestling anyway. Okay, and any other ones announced? You have the June one in Atlanta. No, not Atlanta, sorry, in Georgia. Dublin, Georgia.
Yeah.
The only reason I know that is because I was like, Dublin, what? He's going to Ireland?
June 26th, 27th.
Oh, that's for a while.
Yeah.
But tickets are on sale now. They'll probably sell out soon. So if you're planning on it, head there. I don't know the promotion. All I know is Doc.
Yeah. I wish I knew too if you were putting me on the spot.
Sorry.
Thank you.
No, let's look for it right now.
You can
I got
edit.
it right now.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna look for it because you know what? We can't just not talk about it because I just retweeted it, so it'll be an easy find.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
Lariato Pro.
Lariata Pro. Lariato Pro.
It's a clothesline in Japanese.
Lariato Pro, Georgia.
Can't say it without the accent though. Okay. Now it makes sense. I got you.
Okay, guys, on Twitter, at Lariata Pro GA. Okay?
Yeah.
Check them out. They've got other Impact stars on it too, and other people, and it looks pretty dope, and I wish I was there. So,
Yeah, just crowds wrestling.
stuck here. That's okay. Are they streaming?
I bring you back candy. It's fine.
Are they streaming? That's like my number
Yes, it's
one.
on Impact Plus.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I don't know if it's on Impact Plus
That's
live.
like my
but-
number one thing I ask is it streaming? So I can watch it live too. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to end it here.
Well, before you end it,
What?
I just want to tell you that I'm very proud of you
Oh,
for what you've been doing with this podcast. It is very good.
thank you.
I am a podcast connoisseur. I've consumed many podcasts
He
over
is
the
being
last
biased though.
5. No. It's just I've said like you have very little confidence with this stuff, and just I mean the amount of work you put in is a little obscene, but
me cry again.
the product that you put out and like the conversations you have with people, I think it's organic and awesome and genuine, instead of being like a lot of these wrestling podcasts become forced, right? They become like, ooh, did you break into the business?
Yeah, and you know what? That's exactly what I was telling Jess. When I was thinking of this podcast, I did not want to be a broken record. I didn't want to be a podcast that asks the same things. That if you're a fan of the guests that I'm having, you know, that episode, you're already going to know how they got into wrestling, or, you know, it's just,
Or you should.
Yeah, you should know their story. And this, for me, I just want to touch on other things. And it's not like a, you know, personal thing, I guess, here, but there's also topics that I do like to hit. There's things I feel that aren't talked about often.
You've carved out your own little niche of like a genuine conversation whilst having wrestling be a topic that will
Yeah.
be like
And I hope it
skimmed
comes
through
off that way.
because it's a
I
part
really
of all
do.
of our lives.
Yeah.
But for someone who thinks she's a terrible talker, and for someone who worries about putting together a proper sentence and asks me proper, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Where I don't want to take a side, but it's two sides of the story. I'm like unbiased opinion. And you're like, yeah, that's what I was looking for.
That's
Like
the winner.
stuff like that. Like when I listen to the podcast, you sound like you could be like a radio disc jockey. Like,
I do a lot of editing. I will tell you that.
no, but like the way you enunciate, the way you talk, the way like it's very digestible. It's like it's easy to listen to. It's not like you're just blurting shit into a microphone.
Thank you.
Yes. So you're already good at it. I'm sure you're only going to get better, and it's only going to get better. And I'm just proud you took the leap.
Thank you. And we're going to start the podcast with me crying, and we're going to end the podcast the right way with me crying. So
Yeah, right on.
until then,
And I don't cry.
you get to say it. I'm going to let you say it this time.
Oh, she will see you next Tuesday. Ta-da.